Hey, what's up guys? My name is EQZ and welcome to my 2023-2024 Premier League predictions here, guys. We are going to be predicting here today what I think is going to be the 2023-2024 season of the Premier League, how the table is going to look on the final day when everyone has played 38 games. You know, I've predicted on my own, but I've never made a video about this, and I thought it was just a cool idea. I know a lot of YouTubers do it, so I thought why not for me to do it just to see what you guys think, because sometimes I think my predictions are relatively decent. You guys will let me know and we'll find out at the end of the season if I was pretty much on the spot with a lot of these teams. You know, hopefully it's going to be a good. This is my first time doing this type of video, so I got my face cam right here and then the predictions on the other side here, just kind of split here. And I've already made the predictions here. It will be covered right now though. You guys won't see any of the teams. I can see all the teams I already have predicted here, but we're going to start from the bottom up, of course, and we're going to work our way up. So we're going to go with the relegated teams first, because I think any three of these teams will be relegated. It just really depends on which position they are, and then we'll keep moving up the ladder. So we're going to start right away here with the Premier League predictions 2023-2024 season. In 20th place, the three teams that I think are going to be relegated is going to be Luton Town, Sheffield United, and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, I think any one of these teams will be relegated. It just depends on the position that they are in. But I think Luton Town, they have an amazing story, obviously, with their whole stadium and how their club isn't the biggest. And I mean, it just really depends on how they do. I think they will have a story to tell here, and I think they will fight. And I would not be surprised if they stay up, purely because of the heart and passion that these players have for the club, because I mean, it's such a small club and they haven't been to the Premier League. So I think it's very possible that they could stay up, but I'm just still pegging them to be in last place, just because I mean, they haven't really done much. They made a couple of transfers. Obviously Ross Barkley is back in the Prem. Free agent signing they just made. That's some good veteran player there who knows the Premier League. I just think other than that, they made some signings, lots of loan signings, young players. You know, Ryan Gills from Wolves. We have Issa Kabor from Man City. Just a lot of loan signings that are young players who have a bright future, I'm sure. But I just do not think it's going to be good enough. Their squad isn't nearly as good enough as a lot of these other teams who have been in the Prem and who just have more money to spend. And as you guys saw, Sheffield United in 19th. I also think another one of the promoted teams will be going back down to the Championship next year. I just think they haven't really done much either. Not a lot of signings. Again, not the most ambitious transfer window for them. They've made a one signing, Austin Trusty from Arsenal, but I mean, that player, he's a good center back, decent center back for them. Maybe he could be good, but I just do not think it's going to be enough. I mean, that's really the only big signing they've had. They've had other ones. They've made another one, actually, Vinicius de Souza Costa, who could be good as well, but I don't know much about him, and I just do not think, maybe he might not be the greatest player, or at least a player that's not going to like lift them up and elevate them as much. He'd definitely be a good player, I'm sure. Signed him for about $12 million, but I just do not think that they're going to be able to stay up with that many, with the little transfers they made and the squad that they have already. I just do not think it's going to be enough. 18th, Wolverhampton Wanderers. I guess the drop of this team, they came up to the Premier League a couple years ago and they have been pretty amazing. They finished, I think, 7th one season, if you guys remember. They've been pretty good in the Prem, but I just think it's time for them to go back down. They have not made any really ambitious signings here. I mean, they brought Matt Doherty in, but I mean, other than that, not really much to go about on. Their squad is decent. I will not lie. They have some good players. Sarabia, who came from PSG, I think in the January transfer window. But they let go of Raul Jimenez, which, I mean, let's face it, was not really doing that great. So it's not the biggest loss, but he was good for them. And I don't know. I just think that they will not have the greatest of season, and I am pegging them to go down. So yeah, I just think that Wolves are just not going to be able to stay up this season, and it's going to be the end. It's probably going to be close. 18th place. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if they finish 17th or even 16th perhaps, but I just think that it is time for them to go down based on their squad and just their performance. Last season as well was a pretty disappointing season. They're just not really that good anymore, and I think it's time for them to go down. Alrighty guys, so our next positions, we're gonna go the next three, so 17th, 16th, and 15th. So 17th is going to be Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth have actually had a pretty decent transfer window. They have definitely spent some money. They've brought in Justin Kluivert, the son of legend Kluivert, and they've brought in some other players as well. From Bristol City, they brought in Alex Scott for $26 million, so that is not too bad. He's a decent player. And they've also brought in Milos Kerkez from AZ, from the I believe it's the Dutch league, and he's also a decent player for around 18 million. So they have definitely showed ambition to upgrade their squad and make sure that they stay up. I just think that their squad still isn't the greatest compared to the other squads above them, and that is why I have them finishing 17th. In 16th, we have Nottingham Forest. So Nottingham Forest, I think, also They actually struggled last season. They almost got relegated. They were in relegation battle, but on the last day, they ended up staying up in the Premier League, which was great for them. And Nottingham Forest have showed some amazing ambition to stay up in the Premier League this next season. I just think still that their squad isn't just the greatest yet. They will definitely be good in about maybe 2 years. They brought Matt Turner from Arsenal, a great goalkeeper option. They brought Anthony Alanga from Manchester United, 19 million, and he's got a bright future. So like I said, he might not be the greatest right now, which is why I say maybe in 2 years, I think they have the chance of becoming a really good team if they are able to keep all these players. But I mean, they made 2 transfers, and that's really it. That's really it. They made 2. I think they're pretty big signings. Matt Turner and Anthony Alanga are definitely going to help your squad and upgrade your squad. But I just think that those are the only really 2 big signings they've had, and I think they're just going to struggle again and finishing 16. Maybe they might be in relegation battle again, but they might survive once again. In 15th, I have Fulham. Fulham had a great season last season, finishing 10th in the Premier League. A very shock to a lot of people, but I think that run is going to end again, and they're going to go back a little bit down to 15th place. They've only brought 2 players really this transfer window. Raul Jimenez from Wolves, of course, but you know, hasn't really been the best these last couple of years. Ever since he got that injury, he just really hasn't performed. Hopefully he will perform again, because I'm a big fan. Obviously I'm a Mexican fan, so I hope he does get better. And I mean, they brought in Calvin Bassey from Ajax, who is also a decent player, a center back, a nice defensive unit that they can have there. But I just think that they're not going to do as good as they did last season. And you know, they've only brought 2 players. They have decent depth, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really elevate their squad. And this is why I have them finishing 15th. Alrighty, in 14th place, we have Everton. Now, Everton had an absolute mare last season, and they were in the relegation battle as well. They almost got relegated, and it was a big shock because Everton have consistently over the past couple of years been a top 10 team and really almost challenged for top 6 spot as well. They were never able to get to that spot, and I think after last season, they're just going to be going downhill from here. They haven't really done much business in this transfer window. They brought in Ashley Young, a veteran player, on a free transfer. They brought in Danjuma from Villarreal on loan here as well, but I just think that it's not going to be enough to really elevate them again, and I think they're going to struggle massively this season. And I mean, Everton had a good squad a couple years ago, but yeah, they sold all their players, and now it seems like they're just kind of rebuilding here with what they've got. And I just think they have a decent squad, but it's still not going to be enough, and I think they will struggle. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish more in the bottom half of the Premier League table, but I think because of some of the players' experience, I think they'll have a little bit of a better season than last season, but they will still struggle. Alrighty, in 13th, our other promoted team, Burnley, who is no stranger to the Premier League. They've actually been very good the past couple of years in the Prem, but they got relegated 2 years ago, and so they had to come back up, and they comfortably did, winning the championship last season, and they are back up here. And Burnley have done nothing but try to get as much players as they can to help their squad. They have definitely been ambitious this summer transfer window, bringing in James Trafford from Manchester City, a goalkeeper, young goalkeeper. Hopefully he can help them, as well as another player, Amdouni from Basel, for about $19 million as well. So another player that can elevate them, and I think they are doing the right things to bolster up their squad here, and I think they will have a good season. I think honestly they could finish bottom, they could finish lower, but Burnley, like I said, no stranger to the Premier League, and I think they will have no really struggle in getting in that relegation zone, and I think they will stay up pretty comfortably. In 12th, guys, I'm going to be putting a Crystal Palace. I think they're going to be middle of the pack this season. Roy Hodgson, obviously a great coach in the Premier League, knows how to keep a team up and keep them in that mid-table range. So I think they're going to be doing just fine, as they always do. Crystal Palace have always been, you know, that sort of mid-table team that just always seems to be there and don't really seem to elevate. I think they just lost Zaha. Zaha, obviously a Crystal Palace legend essentially for them. Very good player. Could have gone to big clubs, but he never really did. And I think he just moved. I think it was, did he go to Saudi Arabia? He went to another team. He finally got transferred out. And so I think that's a massive loss, but they have done a little bit to get him, you know, a replacement. They brought in Matheus Franca from Flamengo, the Brazilian league. Hopefully he does very good in the Premier League. And I just think they're going to be doing decent, you know, middle of the pack, like I said, 12th place. Crystal Palace, like we always like, you know, like they're always there, it seems like. In 11th place, I'm going to be putting Brentford. So they're going to be missing out on the top 10 in the Premier League, and I think it's going to be very, very close. They did amazing last season, and I think they're going to be doing just as good again, but I just think they're not going to be doing, they're just going to be missing out on the top 10. They haven't really done much business in the transfer window. They brought in Kevin Scheid from Freiburg on a permanent deal. They did have him on loan, so they're bringing him in. I'm sure he was doing very well for them last season, so he is going to be a game changer for them. They brought in Nathan Collins from Wolves as well, so another player that they're taking from a Premier League League team, and I think he will do just fine there as well, a center back. So, and I think they're gonna have a good season. I just think they haven't done it enough to really elevate themselves into that top 6, top 7 if they wanted to. But like I said, they didn't make good last season, so who knows? They might just be doing, you know, they could be doing better in the second season, or they just had a one season wonder sort of thing and they could drop off this season. Our top 10 is going to be interesting to say the least, but in 10th place, I have my team, West Ham United. I think we're going to be finishing 10th this season. Now, we had an absolute, we had such a bad season last season. David Moyes, I could rant about him all day long. I'm not a big fan of him. He won us a European Cup, so I guess I can give him some props. You know, it's the Europa Conference League, the lowest one, but still, it's a European Cup nonetheless. We're European champions. So, you know, in the Premier League, he hasn't really done that great last season, but he did do the previous season with the Europa League. So I think he just needs a little bit more time with some players. But if I see within 2 months, if we're not doing good, I think we ought to get him out, give him the sack, because we have a great squad. We let go of Scamacca, unfortunately. I was a big fan of Scamacca. We lost Declan Rice, probably our biggest loss, our captain, but we got so much money for him. So in this transfer window, as of right now, the day I'm recording this, we just signed Edson Alvarez from Ajax, from the Mexican player. I'm a big fan of him. I think it would be a great replacement for Declan Rice. And we also signed James Ward-Prowse from Southampton as well, another player who is pretty decent. So there's 2 midfielders right there automatically that we have already used to replace Declan Rice, and I think we'll do just fine. We have some other players that we need to, you know, we got Harry Maguire as well. I don't know, I've made fun of Harry Maguire, but he's on my team now, so I have to kind of try to back him, because I obviously don't want him to do bad. And I actually do think he will rejuvenate his career with West Ham. I think he'll do good, because he was great at Leicester City. It's only when Man U he came. He does good for England, so I think West Ham will have a good season, hopefully. We might lose Paqueta. That would be a massive loss if we do. As I'm recording this, he might be going out to Manchester City, which is an absolute big loss. I think Paqueta is probably our most important player right now to keep, but if we let go of him, we need to make sure we get a good replacement for him. But I think we'll have a good season, start going back up to that top 10, because yeah, last season was just not it. In 9th place, I'm going to be having Brighton finishing 9th this season. Obviously, a team that is now pretty much in that top 10 contender spot every season. Now, they're just doing really good as of recently, and in the transfer window, they've bolstered up the squad a little bit. They brought Igor from Fiorentina for $18 million. They've brought Verbeegen from Anderlecht for 18 million as well. So a goalkeeper there and a center back to help with their defense, and I think it will definitely help them. They also brought in Mohamed Damoud from Dortmund on free transfer. He's a very good player, actually. I highly rate him. He's still relatively young. I think he's on his prime, I think, so he's definitely going to be helping them. And they brought in James Milner from Liverpool, who I think, I mean, a veteran player, will definitely be helping the squad, you know, more behind the scenes, but he's still a good player to have. But the only reason why I'm not having them finishing a little higher is mainly because, I mean, they might be losing Caicedo, who was massive for them last season. I mean, and they lost already Robert Sanchez to Chelsea, so that is a big blow to them. So I mean, they replaced him with another goalkeeper already, but I mean, Sanchez is a really good goalkeeper for them, so I think he's just it's just going to be hurting them a little bit, but they'll still be fine, finishing 9th place, trying to push for a European spot. In 8th place, I have Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa, another team who is consistently very good each season in these past couple of years, finishing I think like 10th, 9th, you know, that top 10 spot, and I think they will finish 8th this season. I mean, they brought in Diaby from Leverkusen for $57 million, a right winger, so he's going to be massive for them. Hopefully he does very good, but you never know. A lot of these players, they come from different leagues and they kind of flop, so I mean, I hope that's not the case with him. I would hate to see players flop, but I think they will have a good season. They brought in Pau Torres from Villarreal, $34 million. That's going to be a great addition to their squad, so they've really bolstered up key spots in their squad, and they're definitely going to be pushing for that European spot. It's going to be close. I think they will finish 8th place though. In 7th place, I have the Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, I think if they lose Harry Kane, I think it's over for them. I think they will drop massively. I mean, they brought in James Maddison. I mean, it's a good signing for them, but I just don't think they're that good enough to finish top 4 anymore. You know, if they keep Harry Kane, I think he's massive for them. Obviously, they still have Son, so they have a decent squad up top, like attacking squad, but their defense has just never been that great in recent times. I mean, they have attempted to bolster up their defense. They brought in Mickey van de Ven from Wolfsburg for $36 million. I mean, it's hopefully he is a good addition for them. But I mean, yeah, I mean, Tottenham, they're just not winning anything anytime soon, unfortunately. And they're going to be finishing 7th. They might get European spot, maybe, just depending on who wins the FA Cups and stuff. But I think they will finish just outside and not get European. In 6th place, now this might be controversial because I do think they can redo what they did last season and have an absolute terrible season. But it's going to be Chelsea finishing in 6th, I think. I mean, they brought in Pochettino, a very good manager. He's been proven to be good in the Premier League. I mean, he managed Tottenham, and he brought Tottenham to greater heights as well. So I think he definitely will be doing good. I just think he needs some time. I don't think they should sack him if he's doing bad this next season. I think he needs at least 2 years. I mean, obviously he did bad with PSG, I think, I guess in their terms, but Chelsea spending so much money again this transfer window, getting a lot of players. Robert Sanchez, like I mentioned earlier, from Brighton. Brian Disasi from Monaco for 46 million. Can't really pronounce it. Ugo Chugugu from Rennes. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Let me know how to pronounce it. So they're doing a lot of business. They're also letting go of a lot of players. They brought in Nicholas Jackson from Villarreal, who has been actually looking pretty decent. They brought in Nkunku finally, and I mean, he's injured right now. He just got injured recently, so I think that's going to be a massive blow to them because he's a very good player, and he was in the preseason, he was doing pretty good for them already. So without Nkunku, I think they will struggle, but they have a good squad still. They have a pretty young squad, so that's why I think they need a couple years as well to really become a very, very great squad in the Premier League. But I think they'll finish 6th place. They'll go back to getting European football here because they have no European football, so that's going to be massive for them. They'll just have to focus solely on the Premier League, and I think that'll be great for them. In 5th place, maybe another shocker for you guys, but I think they will be having another good season again. It's going to be Newcastle United. They finished 4th last season. They have Champions League this season, which could hurt them, but they have not been slowing down. They have been purchasing a lot of players. They brought in Harvey Barnes from Leicester. They brought in Tonali from Milan. So they've brought in a lot of big players here who can definitely bolster up their already good squad here. The Isak, Bruno as well at the midfield. So 2 players there who had what a great season last year. And I think they will be elevating themselves, and they're going to be, you know, now a top 7 contender team. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish 6th or 7th, but I think they will have a better season than Tottenham and a slightly better season than Chelsea. Alrighty, in 4th place, it's going to be Manchester United. Now, a lot of people banter on Manchester United. I've bantered on Manchester United, and I mean, obviously their glory days, it's been a while, and I think they're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. They have a good squad. Erik ten Hag obviously doing a great job there. I think he's building a culture, but I think it's gonna take time, and I think he still needs another year. But they are gonna have, I think they will have a good season. They will be pushing for that 2nd and 3rd place spot, but I think it's gonna be close, and I think they'll just miss out and get 4th. They'll still have Champions League though next season. I mean, they lost Harry Maguire to West Ham. Maybe Harry Maguire has cursed the club, and maybe they'll start doing better. They brought in Onana to replace De Gea, who they've lost. I mean, De Gea is a massive loss in my opinion, but De Gea has never been good with his feet, so hopefully maybe Onana changes that. And they brought in Hojan as well, the young, I think he's Norwich, right? Or I think he's Danish. He's the young Denmark player from Atlanta for $76 million. That's a lot for a young player, but hopefully he does good for them. And they have a good squad. The Casemiro, they've got some good players still, so I think they will definitely be pushing for that 2nd place spot. I don't think they'll be title contenders just yet, but they will be pushing for that top 4 spot, and I think they will finish in 4th place. Alrighty, in 3rd place, it's going to be Liverpool. I mean, last season they didn't have the greatest starts of the season. They managed to come back and do much better. I think they did end up finishing, what was it? I think they were 5th, right? They're 5th or 6th, finished in Europa spot. I think they will win the Europa League this year. They've signed some players. Their midfield was an absolute mess, but I just think now they have finally replaced. They got Alexis McAllister, World Cup winning player, and coming from Brighton, who did very good there. And they brought in Dominic. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, but they brought in Dominic from RB Leipzig, another midfielder. He might play more of a winger. We'll see. But I think they're gonna have a much better season. Their midfield is now rejuvenated because they had Jordan Henderson and Milner in midfield. I mean, you just cannot really at that, like, yeah, I don't even want to say it, but they lost Jordan Henderson as well, by the way, but they've replaced them, and I think they will have a much better season. Mohamed Salah always doing pretty good, and I hope Nunes as well does pretty good, and Cody Gakpo as well hopefully starts kicking off with this Liverpool team. So I think they'll have a good season, and I think they will finishing a 3rd place. Alright guys, so 2nd and 1st place, who will be the champions. We have 2 teams left, Manchester City and Arsenal. And I think it's going to be a repeat of what happened last season. I think Manchester City are going to be winning the Premier League once again. I mean, they just have such a good squad, man. Arsenal have done things to improve their squad. Declan Rice, Timber, they have Saliba back now. They have Saka. They brought in Havertz. So they have some very good depth now. And I think they will be pushing for the title once again. They could have won it last year. They choked though, but I think they're just not going to be able to win it again this year. And I think Manchester City, they're just such a super squad. Erling Haaland, obviously top goal scorer last season. He's going to have another great season, I'm sure of it. And Manchester City always bolstering up their squad every season when they lose players. They lost Gundogan to Barcelona, but they're going to replace him with, I mean, they might get Paqueta, so they might get replacements there. They still have Bernardo Silva. KDB is still there. Their defense is solid still. I mean, it's just a really good team. Champions League win. I mean, treble winners. So I think they're going to repeat and get another Premier League. I think is that 3 in a row that they will be able to get it. 3 in a row. I think they will be doing it now. And I think Arsenal will unfortunately miss out. But there you guys have it. That is the full table. What you guys think? I'll scroll here because for some reason it doesn't let me see the whole thing here. But let me know what you guys think. Where did I miss the mark? Where do you guys think I was wrong? What's your guys' predictions? I would love to see your guys' predictions in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen. Who do you guys think is going to win? I mean, Manchester City, they could slip up, and I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal or maybe like a Liverpool go in and title contend again, but I just don't think it's going to happen. They're going to just do really good like they always do. But let me know if you guys enjoyed this Premier League prediction video, guys. I know it's a little bit sloppy. My knowledge, I still need to get a little bit better, which is why I started doing this video. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, what you guys thought. Next year, I will for sure do a much better one. I'll be more knowledgeable. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Hit the bell notification to get notified when all of my videos go live, guys. Follow all my social media down in the description below. And yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for me today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.